Welcome to the show. Oh boy, do we have a great show today. But first, do not miss out on this year's biggest giveaway. That's right, he holds up the prop. For the first time ever on my show, I'm hosting a holiday giveaway. But make no mistake, these are not just any gifts. They are hand-prepared and signed by moi, yours truly, the great Odersky. So you definitely don't want to miss the chance. Just go to winlarry.com and enter the giveaways right now. On December the 8th, I will announce count them, three live on the Larry Elder Show on Epic TV. I can't wait to send you these gifts. Again, go to winlarry.com to enter the giveaway right now. That's winlarry.com. Now, after a man committed mass murder at a Colorado gay club, the media immediately connected his motives to right-wing, anti-gay, transphobic, hateful rhetoric. Watch this.
This is what rhetoric brings. Words matter. Words matter, and people like Lauren Boebert, who, has been in the forefront of dissing LGBTQ plus people, is now saying her prayers and thoughts go with the families. Well, they don't really need your prayers and thoughts. They needed your vote.
You have anti-LGBTQ rhetoric spewed on the most watched hours on Fox News at a regular clip against gay men and women, against gay teachers, against their right to exist.
This is likely, and since we've heard reports that the subject isn't cooperating with police, that means they likely found clear and convincing evidence on his devices. If he's a consumer of the people we just rattled off, from Lauren Boebert to Tucker Carlson, let's get it out. Let's get it out at trial. Let's expose it for what it is, name it and shame it. He's a consumer of these people, and those people should face civil consequences from the victims.
The far right-wing conservatives sort of got over CRT or critical race theory. They needed a new boogeyman, and they leapt on LGBTQ community members, specifically trans people. Since April, we've also seen a one-to-one correlation with violence, harassment, assaults, real-world violence in this community.
Now, in recent months, drag events, particularly all-ages events like that, like brunches, story hours at public libraries, have become a point of obsession for right-wing forces seeking to demonize LGBTQ folks. Earlier this year, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis infamously signed into law what critics have called the Don't Say Gay bill, which prevents some teachers from even discussing the existence of gay and trans folks. And again, to be clear, no one is responsible for this weekend's horrific attack but the shooter himself. But as one Colorado state legislator reminded my colleague Katie Tur, it happened within the context of this anti-LGBTQ hysteria.
As election nears, some conservative groups have ramped up anti-trans campaign ads. Far-right figures appear to be testing Twitter's boundaries for anti-LGBTQ speech. I think we have to have a come-to-Jesus moment here. As reporters, are we more afraid of being on Breitbart for saying that trans people deserve to be alive? Or are we more afraid of the dead people? Because I'm more afraid of the dead people.
I've got a headache. Oh, the dastardly, evil, right-wing conservatives. They needed a new boogeyman. So we all had a meeting. We took a vote and we said, hey, let's go after the trans community. But wait, turns out the suspect identifies as non-binary. Now, this poses a problem for the media-driven narrative, doesn't it?
So attorneys for the accused shooter, Anderson Lee Aldrich, say in new court filings tonight that the suspect now identifies as non-binary. In a footnote to a motion asserting legal privileges, the public defenders say, quote, Anderson Aldrich is non-binary. They use they, them pronouns, and for the purposes of all formal filings will be addressed as Mix Aldrich. So in other words, not Mr. or Ms. Joining me now, CNN political commentator Errol Lewis, also back with me, Al Franken and Joe Walsh. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that's not anything that we had heard from his background. You know, people have been looking into his background.
I don't know what to say about that. Just a little inconvenient. But you can't keep a good story down. Here's what the LA Times said. An attorney and chair of the National Trans Bar Association said that regardless of his gender identity, the membership in a protected group in no way obviates the possibility that the crime the individual commits is motivated by hatred. Close quote. They always have an excuse, don't they? Joining me now to talk about the media bias premature connection between the so-called right-wing rhetoric and the motives of this mass killer and media bias is Fred Dreyer, a non-liberal who starred in the NFL and was also the star of a long-running hit TV show called Hunter. Fred, you and I have had long discussions about media bias. You have had two amazing careers, both in the NFL and in Hollywood. My question to you first is, what is your reaction to the way they assume right away that the reason this man went into that gay club and shot up a bunch of people is because he was motivated by right-wing hatred?
Well, that's the only thing they have to deal in. You know, this insipid wisdom that they pretend that they own is nothing but just a cabal of stupidity. And they own it. And the more they open their mouth, the more they predict outcomes based on sexual gender and they, them, and all of the language and the lexicon of idiocy, the more they think that they're getting a one-up on everybody. Forget just right-wing Republicans. Everybody, anybody who can think for themselves, anybody who can actually put a sentence together is looked at very suspiciously, and it takes a terrible incident like this that nobody wanted to have happen, but here it is, and we're not only stuck with the results of a death, we're stuck with the results of really bad wisdom.
You know, what gets me, Fred, is you hear that montage. It's all about Fox News, Fox News, Fox News. The most popular show on Fox News might have 5 million viewers. Most of those are not gays, or not trans, or not non-binary. How do we even know this individual even watches Fox News, let alone was motivated by its alleged hatred?
Well, the conversation drops off precipitously, real fast, once you realize, oh, anybody can kill anybody. So in this case, was the fact that he was gay or binary or non-binary, was he killed because he wasn't using them there correctly? I don't know. Someone has to ask him, and you're never going to get anybody in this community to ask any question of any importance whatsoever.
Now, Fred, as I mentioned in my introduction, you've had two amazing careers. Anybody would kill for either. You've had two. You started in the NFL. You started in Hollywood. Were your views known? Were you known as a conservative when you were playing football?
That idea wasn't really in the mix. Nobody, no reporters or nobody was walking around whispering, you know, Fred made a real nice play there, but, he's a Republican. So that's exactly right. You see, I'm a binary man, and I made a great play, and it's only because I'm binary. Those things didn't exist, and it's as stupid as all of this is that we're going through now. I'm glad this didn't choke off my youth. I spent a lot of time in athletics all through my life, and it was a blessing to be able to do it. But I would hate today to be a professional athlete with all of this idiocy hanging over me. People following you around to get you to make stupid mistakes so they can use you for about 7 minutes on the soundbite to get you to capitulate your politics.
Right. Well, when you were playing, of course, you didn't have the social media. Fred, I don't know that I told you this. I was invited to give a speech before the Ohio State football a few years ago. About 100 people were there, and I talked about the fact that the police are not mowing down black people just because they're black. I went over all the stats. I'm not saying I had a warm reception, but I said what I had to say. And one of those in the crowd was Nick Bosa, who started following me on Twitter. And when he got drafted by the 49ers, there was a big article about the people he follows on Twitter, and he was criticized for following Larry Elder. Well,
there it is. I mean, I can only wish that those people who have strong opinions and are of mighty character in this world, I only hope that they have the ability to defend themselves, because it's not a pleasant day when you have a swarm of really stupid people like you've seen here on your show here. These people who claim to be the watchdogs of what is moral and just. You've now got a whole idiotic group of people who honestly don't look or research any of the material that comes across their desk.
Now let's talk about Fred Dryer and Hollywood. Again, long-running hit TV show. Did people know you? Did your agent know you? Did producers know you as a conservative?
I don't know. I know how I'm looked at in life. Forget Hollywood, but I use the English language accordingly, and to sentences like "I own guns" and I'm a red hot politician at night, and an actor by day.
So you never felt discriminated against because of how you felt?
I never knew it. I mean, it wasn't like it is today. I mean, today, as a matter of fact, today, you could make a good case that I'm not a priority, that my pedigree in the industry would indicate. I mean, I was on a hit show for a long time, and I've been in the business over 25, 30 years, and I've done a lot of work, but I'm not in demand. And that's probably, you could probably surmise that it's probably due to the fact that the politic, which is true, the politic in life has changed drastically. The politic, you take a look and see how many people are out of a job, or how many people are suffering with the indignity of trying to stay in the business that they love, right, and that they need to stay in for. I decided a while ago, a couple of years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, right before COVID, I didn't need to dig myself deeper. I had a great run at a lot of things, and I gave it my all, as they say, and from now on, if somebody says, I had a casting agent come up to me at a restaurant and said, "Hey, where have you been?" And I said, "I'm around. I do have representation. Give me a call."
Call me. I'm not hard to find.
I'm around. But that doesn't happen, and I'm not waiting for it to happen. And so it's like football. I got to knock on the door, and the guy says, "Hey, Ray wants to see you," and "Oh yeah, bring your playbook." And so that's how it happens. There's fanfare in life coming in, but very little going out. And so I'm pleased to have done what I've done, and Bosa seems like a bright kid. Ohio State. I got to assume he can think for himself. He's going to need to be able to think for himself and think on his feet. He's making a lot of money. He's white, and he's successful, and that attracts a lot of people, Larry. An awful lot of people that don't, that don't mean him well.
Yeah, it's a tough time to be a white male, non-liberal, heterosexual in America these days. Fred, we're going to have to leave it there. Fred Dryer, thank you very much for coming on. God bless. Be sure to hit that like button because I know you like this show. Hit subscribe because you know you want to do that. And make sure you click on the description below. That way you can be put on our mailing list because we have been demonetized by YouTube. I kid you not. So if you don't want to miss any videos, get on our mailing list. I'm Larry Elder. This has been the Larry Elder Show for Epic Times. We got a country to save. See you next time.